Hey everyone, and welcome back, I guess. I'm the one who's been gone for, year and a half. So today I'm doing the first part of this painting. Today's just going to be the pencils and the line art. Next week will be the actual painting. Just time-wise, it worked out a little better that way. And also I didn't feel like doing too much editing, so, that helps too. A little bit more about this particular piece. It is, in essence, kind of like a redraw, that whole redraw old piece of art. I have an entire expanding file folder of various things going back to about when I was 12. So I just wanted something be pretty quick and fun to do. It'd still be pretty cute and not really attached to anything. I have a lot of old OC development. Some of them do pop up occasionally in sketchbooks and stuff still, so it's fun looking back. This particular one was the deciding factor. There was another two that I almost did, but decided they were a little more complicated than I wanted to go with. I wanted it to still be a little simple, and again, I was aiming for cute and happy. So, decided on this little strawberry pixie. It's fun to look back. And it's also cringy to look back because what is her torso doing? And why is her face only, a third of her head? That's kind of disturbing. Yeah, but it's also kind of fun just looking back. So a little more detail into actually what I'm doing is obviously doing the penciling for this first. It was kind of fun going with it because I wanted to keep it hopefully recognizably the same, but add more visual interest because she's just standing there. It's what is posing, what is composition. So, I wanted to add a little bit more on that. Try to keep it, the same kind of pose because just, I didn't want to just do a piece and just completely change it. It's this is, allegedly the same character, but, she's doing something completely different. Just the background is going to be very simple shapes if there's any at all. You might just leave it blank. We'll see. I also edited her outfit some to make it work a little bit more. As you can probably tell if you have any knowledge in it, and I can tell looking back because I, remember what I was like when I was either 14 or 15 is when this got done initially. I think I forgot to say that. It's all a little blurry back then, but looking at the coloring style and the other pieces that were around it in the folder, that's probably about the time period it was in. Again, it's all a little blurry, but I was, it was about a decade ago. And so her whole outfit is fairly obviously inspired by Japanese Lolita fashion, specifically in the sweet sub-style, which I was quite a fan of, but I didn't really do any deep research or attempt to do it properly. Honestly, I still am quite a fan of it. It's such a cute style, and it has a lot of detail and stuff that I tend to like in fashion. So it's still a fashion style that I follow just somewhat properly now, and occasionally wear. Just don't get the opportunity to as much as I would like to because there's lots of petticoats involved and they are not the most convenient. So I did modify her outfit some and added a ruffle in the bottom of the sleeve cap as well as a layer of leaves to help tie it into the bottom of the shirt as well. Added a tier onto the skirt just because it was just a blank mass, which doesn't tend to happen very much in Lolita. It occasionally shows up in a classic styling, but even then it's going to have ruffles, it's going to have more, well, not necessarily ruffles, more like pleats, or it's going to have like a trim attached to it, or it'll be something like a velvet or a corduroy, just something with a texture that feels rich. And since she has very sweet stylings, she wouldn't have that sort of clothing to it. I apologize for the dog in the background. This is probably like the 7th time I've tried to record this video because I keep falling down a rabbit hole and babbling about things no one cares about. So I'm stuck at a time when this dog will not be quiet. Anyways, so she has much more sweet style, which would have, you know, it's brighter colors, it's various other pieces, and she just wouldn't have like that giant blank spot. So added a tier to add more visual interest. Most likely it would be a 3-tiered skirt, though that's not very visible. Here is when I realized that I did not sketch in the second arm. So I was just like, we're just gonna put a shirt here. So he also made her shirt a little bit more like poofy. And then I kind of sketched in the arm on the side, like, nah, it's just kind of like holding it behind her next to her side. Now realizing it, I think I did mess up the silhouette some. And most Lolita, the waist is where the skirt starts, but I did move it down a little bit in keeping with the original picture. It was also fun with the hair because initially it's like this weird like helmet. I don't know exactly. It's straight across, which is not how hair works, and it's especially not how pigtails work. So wanted to add a little bit more movement to those, as well as some variants so it, you know, looks like hair and not this weird terrible wig shellacked to her head. I did have regrets though, and it was those leaves. They were a pain. They were a very large pain. I did not like them. But they were like one of the only cool things in the original picture, so had to stick with them. And then I added more because why wouldn't I? Yeah. I also noticed that I kept switching markers fairly randomly. Normally I have 3 sizes. I'll have an 01, 03, and 05, and switch depending on the line width or what I want to be doing with it. Unfortunately, currently my 05 has this weird bend in it, so it swivels, and my 03 is on the way to dying, and I have not yet remembered when I'm in a place to obtain them to get a few replacements so I can just swap out and have to worry about that. So trying to get the consistent lines was interesting, and I'm not sure how well I actually succeeded. But I did try. The dots were pretty fun to add because I wasn't sure if I wanted them to tie in with the strawberry or not, but decided to just go with little circles essentially, and then, you know, just kind of put a little bit of a random pattern so it'd have a little more visual interest than if it was just straight polka dots. Speaking of the strawberry, it was also wasn't sure initially if it was a real strawberry, like just giant, or like a purse or something, so I ended up deciding to go with like a giant plushy pillow sort of thing just because I thought it would be cuter. And it also went with the theme of this, which just was keep it the same but add more detail, so I got to put all the little buttons on and, you know, made it look very squishy, because squishy things are fun. The wings, most of the detail for those will be added with the painting, and I'll get into some more changes from the original that I did just to make it more cohesive when I get to that, because it'll be a bit more dramatic then. That's really about it. Should be back to normal postings soon, and thanks for sticking around and listening to me babble, I guess. And here's the finished line art. Please come back next week to see how she ends up when she's done.